What if you've been manifesting the wrong way your entire life? We've been told that if we want something badly enough, we need to go out and get it. Hustle, grind, force the outcome. But what if everything you've ever desired, every goal, every dream, every breakthrough, is not something to chase, but something that finds you? What if manifestation doesn't begin with action, but with stillness? Today, you'll discover a radical shift in how reality works. And by the end of this video, you'll never see the world or yourself the same way again. Part 1. The Myth of Force. You don't chase your desires. You become a match for them. 1.1. A culture built on the hustle gospel. From the moment we enter the world, we are steeped in a system that idolizes motion, movement, momentum, progress. We are taught to run before we walk, literally and metaphorically. Work harder, push through the pain. Don't stop until you get it. It's the gospel of hustle, a sermon delivered in schools, reinforced in boardrooms, glorified on social media. We're rewarded for effort, praised for productivity, and conditioned to believe that the more energy we exert, the closer we get to our dreams. And so we chase. We chase goals, we chase love, we chase money, we chase meaning. We sprint through life with a map drawn by others, thinking the finish line will bring fulfillment. But here's the twist. No matter how far or fast we run, it often feels like we're chasing shadows. The things we want most, peace, freedom, abundance, love, remain just out of reach. And yet we double down. We push harder. We wake up earlier. We recite more affirmations. We visualize more vividly. We squeeze manifestation into our calendar like another meeting. But all of this striving, does it work? Sometimes, sure. You may get the promotion, the relationship, the car, the house. But ask yourself, did you feel whole when you got it? Did it last? Or did the hunger return the moment the high faded? This isn't just a productivity crisis. It's a spiritual one. 1.2. The hidden cost of constant doing. Let's take a step back. Beyond the slogans and productivity porn, what is the real cost of this obsession with doing? The first is energetic misalignment. When we try to force life into submission, we step out of resonance with the very reality we're trying to create. Why? Because force is rooted in lack. It implies that something is missing, that we are not yet enough, that reality must be bent, pushed, manipulated into cooperating with us. And the quantum field, life at its most fundamental energetic level, responds not to control, but to coherence. Effort fueled by fear sends out one signal. I don't have what I need. And so, life echoes back. You don't have what you need. Second, it creates nervous system dysregulation. Constant striving activates the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. You're running on adrenaline, cortisol, tension. Your muscles tighten, your breath shortens, your mind spirals. You may say the right affirmations, but your body is broadcasting a signal of fear and scarcity. And guess what? The body speaks louder than the mind. The third cost is the most insidious: disconnection from intuition. When you're always moving, there's no space to hear the whisper of your soul. Your inner knowing becomes drowned out by the roar of your to-do list. You lose touch with the very intelligence that could guide you to what you want, with ease. In short, the more we chase, the more we block what's trying to find us. 1.3. Shorty, why desire doesn't respond to desperation. Let's talk energy. In the quantum world, everything is vibration, frequency, resonance. You are not a static being, you're an electromagnetic field. And like a tuning fork, you attract what harmonizes with your current state. That means manifestation isn't about commanding the universe. It's about becoming the version of yourself that your desire is already seeking. But most of us try to manifest from desperation. We chase love because we feel lonely. We strive for wealth because we feel lack. We yearn for peace because we're drowning in anxiety. It's like trying to tune a radio station with a broken dial. No matter how high you turn the volume, the static doesn't go away. Here's the paradox of manifestation. The more you need something, the harder it is to receive it. Why? Because need vibrates at a lower frequency than trust. Because grasping creates resistance. Because desperation broadcasts, "This isn't mine." The universe isn't punishing you, it's reflecting you. 1.4. The stillness most people fear. Now let's introduce an idea that will challenge everything you've been taught. Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is clarity. Stillness is power. But stillness terrifies the modern mind. It feels like non-productivity, like wasted time, like falling behind. In a world that measures your value by your output, stillness can feel like failure. And yet, in that stillness, your signal becomes clear. Your energy recalibrates. Your intuition returns. Your body relaxes. Your field aligns. Manifestation doesn't require effort. It requires presence. And presence is only available in stillness. You don't become magnetic by doing more. You become magnetic by becoming more of who you already are. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the striving. 1.5. The science behind stillness. This isn't just poetic, it's physics. At the subatomic level, particles behave like waves until they are observed. The act of attention, your conscious awareness, literally collapses potential into form. But if your awareness is frantic, divided, desperate, your field is chaotic. You collapse potentials into outcomes that match your distortion. Stillness organizes the field. It's in stillness that the wave becomes the particle that matches your purest intent. The quantum realm is not ruled by force, it's ruled by coherence. You're not just attracting your desires, you're shaping the probabilities of your own universe through your state of being. And that state is most coherent when you're not forcing, but allowing. 1.6. The river metaphor revisited. Let's return to that image. Life as a river. When you're knee-deep in it, yelling at the water to change direction, you feel powerless. You grasp for control, for safety, for guarantees. But when you surrender, when you float, you're not giving up. You're finally aligned with the current. The river always knew where to take you. You were just too busy fighting to notice. Manifestation isn't rowing upstream. It's removing the anchor of resistance and allowing the flow to carry you to what's already yours. 1.7. Real-world examples. Have you ever noticed these patterns? You stop obsessing over finding love, and someone walks in. You let go of the job search, and the right opportunity finds you. You take a break from fixing your life, and suddenly things start working. That's not coincidence. That's frequency. The moment you stop needing, chasing, or fixing, your field becomes receptive. Stillness opens the gate for synchronicity, for surprise, for grace, because now you're not operating from fear. You're vibrating in trust. 1.8. Common misconceptions about stillness. Let's clear something up. Stillness, passivity. Stillness, apathy. Stillness, giving up. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about doing from center. It's about becoming non-resistant, not non-active. You can still take action, but now it's guided, grounded, precise. Like a martial artist who moves with effortless force, not because they push harder, but because they move from alignment. 1.9. An invitation to pause. So now I ask you, where in your life are you still chasing what you could be receiving? Where are you trying to earn what you already deserve? And what would happen if you stopped? Just for a moment. What would you hear in the silence? What would you feel in the stillness? This is where manifestation begins. Not in the noise, but in the quiet recalibration of your energy. You are not here to force your dreams into existence. You are here to become the version of you that dreams are already moving toward. And that version? They live in the stillness you've been avoiding. 1.10. Closing this part. Laying the groundwork. In the next section, we'll take a deeper look at the mirror principle, the universal law that reveals why your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner state. But before you go there, take a moment, breathe, pause the video, turn inward, Because sometimes the most radical thing you can do is stop chasing and start becoming. Part 2, the mirror principle. The universe isn't listening to your words, it's reflecting your essence. 2.1, the mirror hiding in plain sight. There is a truth so simple, so quiet, that it's often missed entirely. Reality is not a machine you operate, it's a mirror you stand before. And like any mirror, it doesn't respond to what you say, it reflects what you are. This is not metaphorical fluff. It's the energetic architecture of the universe. Your life doesn't change when you change what you do. It changes when you shift who you are, internally, emotionally, energetically. We think reality is something out there to be manipulated, controlled, strategized. But manifestation is not a transaction, it's a reflection. When your field changes, your frequency, your state of being, the mirror shifts instantly, not later, instantly, because it never operated on delay. It's always been feedback, not fate. 2.2, why affirmations alone don't work. Let's talk about affirmations. They're a staple in the manifestation world. Say, I am abundant enough times and money will show up. Say, I am worthy and love will walk in. But for many people, affirmations don't work. In fact, they make them feel worse. Why? Because if your subconscious still holds a frequency of lack, fear, or shame, no affirmation will override that. It's like trying to plant seeds in frozen ground. The soil can't receive them. You can say, I'm confident 1,000 times a day. But if your nervous system is flooded with self-doubt, the mirror reflects that, not the words you speak. The universe is not hearing your affirmations. It's reading your frequency. 2.3, understanding energetic congruence. Let's get specific. Your thoughts are like ripples. Your emotions are like waves. But your dominant frequency, your consistent state of being, is the ocean. And that ocean determines what reality reflects back. When you are energetically congruent, your inner state and your outer expression match. You're not faking peace, you feel it. You're not pretending confidence, you live it. This is coherence, and coherence is powerful. It's what turns a scattered flashlight into a focused laser. It's why someone can walk into a room and shift the entire mood without saying a word. Their presence is aligned. Their energy is whole. Their field is speaking louder than their voice. 2.4, what the mirror reflects. Here's the brutal and beautiful truth. You can't trick the mirror. You can't charm the mirror. You can't demand the mirror. Because the mirror isn't judging you, it's matching you. If you feel unworthy deep down, life will reflect circumstances that reinforce that belief. If you vibrate in scarcity, your external world will constantly feel like there's not enough. But when you shift that inner signature, everything begins to change. Because the mirror has no agenda. It simply says, as you are, so shall I be. 2.5, resistance and the war within. Let's zoom in on one of the biggest frequency distortions, resistance. Resistance is the tension between your current identity and the identity you think you need in order to get what you want. It's the clenching of your jaw when you try to be positive, but feel unworthy underneath. It's repeating abundance mantras while your stomach twists with financial fear. Resistance is the war within, and that war creates energetic static. When your internal state is fragmented, when you're saying one thing but feeling another, the signal you send to the quantum field is incoherent, and incoherent energy doesn't manifest, it repels. 2.6, the identity shift that changes everything. Here's where most people get stuck. They try to manifest from their current identity. But the truth is, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are, which means the work isn't to get the thing, it's to become the person who already has it. Let's say you want love. Instead of saying, how do I attract love? Ask, who am I when I am loved? What do I believe about myself? How do I walk? How do I speak? How do I breathe? When you begin to embody that version now, not someday, but now, the mirror has no choice but to match you. This is not performance. This is presence. 2.7, living examples of the mirror in action. You've seen this in your own life. Think of a time when you felt unshakably confident and suddenly opportunities opened up like magic. Or when you were deeply grounded and peaceful and others were drawn to you like gravity. Or conversely, when you were riddled with doubt and every email, conversation, and event seemed to confirm that doubt. That wasn't coincidence. That was the mirror in motion. Life was reflecting your frequency, not to punish you, but to awaken you. The moment you shift your signal, you shift your timeline. 2.8. The illusion of fixing versus the power of tuning. A common trap on the manifestation journey is trying to fix yourself. You identify blocks, trauma, limiting beliefs, and while healing is beautiful, the lens of "I'm broken" creates an energy of shame. And shame is a sticky frequency. It keeps you anchored in the past. Instead of fixing, try tuning. Like a musician tuning their instrument before playing, you're not judging the instrument. You're harmonizing it. You're bringing it into resonance. Tuning is gentle, patient, kind, and most importantly, it works. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-judgment, you shift your frequency. Every time you drop into presence instead of panic, you recalibrate your field. That's the work. Not forcing, not fixing, but tuning, moment by moment, into the version of you that already exists. 2.9. Quantum mechanics meets spiritual alignment. Let's dip into the quantum for a moment. In quantum physics, the observer affects the observed. That means your consciousness literally influences how reality materializes. When your consciousness is scattered, anxious, or fragmented, your field sends out a chaotic signal. But when your inner world is coherent, when your mind, body, and energy are aligned, the field begins to organize around you. Reality crystallizes around your inner clarity. That's why so many mystics, scientists, and spiritual teachers say the same thing. The outer world is not the source of your experience. It's the reflection of your frequency. 2.1. Real power is subtle. We live in a world that celebrates loudness, loud voices, loud brands, loud strategies. But real power? Real power is subtle. It's the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needs to convince. It's the steady frequency of someone who knows they are already enough. This power doesn't chase. It pulls, it doesn't grasp. It invites. It doesn't beg the mirror. It becomes the reflection. 2.11. A practice, mirror tuning. Try this. Each morning, before the noise of the world floods in, ask yourself, what frequency am I living in today? Does it reflect the world I want to create? Am I resisting or receiving? Am I pushing or aligning? Then choose one micro-action that brings you into coherence. Not 10 things, just one. Maybe it's a moment of breath, a choice to forgive, a decision to speak truthfully, a walk in silence. These are not small things. These are frequency shifts, and every shift updates the mirror. 2.12. Final reflections. Let the mirror reflect wholeness. So let me ask you now, where in your life are you trying to manipulate the mirror instead of aligning with what it's showing you? Where are you resisting the reflection, hoping it will change, without changing your own vibration? The mirror is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's your map. It's your key. When you understand this, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop begging life to give you something. And instead, you become the frequency of the thing you seek. That's when manifestation becomes inevitable, because the mirror has no choice but to reflect your new state. Coming up next, in part 3, we'll explore why stillness is power, not as a passive act, but as the most potent energetic alignment you can ever step into. We'll break the myth that stillness is laziness and show you how it becomes the gateway to magnetic clarity, presence, and unshakable manifestation. Ready? Part 3, why stillness is power. Stillness isn't passivity, it's precision. 3.1. Redefining power in a world obsessed with noise. We live in a world that equates movement with meaning. We're told to hustle harder, do more, be everywhere, speak louder. We fear stillness the way we fear silence in a conversation. It makes us feel like we've lost control. And so we fill the space with to-do lists, with noise, with endless doing. But real power, it doesn't yell, it doesn't chase, it doesn't demand attention. Real power whispers, and stillness is its language. Stillness isn't what happens when you give up. It's what begins when you finally remember who you are, without needing to prove it. 3.2. The paradox of action versus alignment. Let's address the resistance many feel. If I stop pushing, won't everything fall apart? Not if your stillness is grounded in awareness. Action taken from fear creates chaotic results. Action taken from alignment is precise, intentional, potent. There's a massive difference between acting to escape discomfort versus acting from inner clarity. Stillness allows space for discernment, for knowing when to move, how to move, and most importantly, when not to move. Like a master archer holding their breath before releasing the arrow, stillness isn't the absence of motion, it's the focus behind it. 3.3. Why stillness feels so unnatural. At first, if stillness is so powerful, why is it so hard? Because the ego equates it with irrelevance. To the conditioned mind, sitting still feels like falling behind, like surrendering control, like giving up on your dreams. But that's a lie told by fear. Stillness is not where dreams die. It's where they crystallize. In stillness, the nervous system recalibrates. The mental chatter dissolves. The energetic signal becomes clear. You stop leaking energy. You start storing it. You become magnetic. Not from doing, but from being. The reason stillness feels scary is because in silence, your distractions fall away. And what's left is you, the real you, the one underneath the roles, the noise, the performance. 3.4. The science of coherence, stillness, and the nervous system. Let's explore what happens biologically in stillness. When you pause deeply, consciously, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. In this state, your heart rate slows. Cortisol, stress hormone, levels drop. The brain produces more alpha and theta waves, states linked to creativity, intuition, and integration. This isn't spiritual woo-woo, it's somatic truth. The body knows when you're safe, and it only begins to repair, receive, and create when it feels safe. Stillness is the signal of safety, and safety is the soil in which manifestation grows. 3.5. Coherence over chaos. In the language of energy, coherence is everything. A coherent field is like a symphony, harmonious, resonant, powerful. A chaotic field is like static, jumbled, scattered, ungrounded. When you're still, your field aligns. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions harmonize. You become a broadcast tower, not a searchlight. You're no longer chasing signals. You're emitting one. And the universe? It responds to the clarity of your signal, not the volume of your voice. 3.6. Trchi, nature's masterclass in stillness. Let's take a cue from nature. A seed doesn't force itself to grow. It doesn't map out milestones. It doesn't visualize leaves or bark or fruit. It simply lies still, deep in the dark, receptive, trusting. And in that stillness, its genetic code, the blueprint of its destiny, activates. Roots push downward, shoots rise. Growth unfolds not through striving, but through allowing. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the foundation of aligned activity. If nature trusts stillness, why don't we? 3.7. The magnetic field of non-resistance. Here's the counterintuitive secret. The moment you stop trying to manifest is when manifestation begins. Why? Because grasping equals resistance, and resistance blocks flow. But when you enter stillness, true, deep, embodied presence, you signal to the quantum field, I am whole, I am open, I trust the unfolding. This signal is irresistible. It draws to you experiences, people, and opportunities that match your state. Not because you chase them, but because you stop chasing. And in that space, life moves toward you. 3.8. Real-life examples of stillness-based manifestation. You've likely experienced this, even if you didn't realize it. You stop texting the person obsessively, and they reach out. You stop micromanaging your business, and the right client appears. You surrender the search for the next job, and get an unexpected offer. You unplug, go on vacation, and get a life-changing idea in the shower. These are not anomalies. These are symptoms of alignment. The moment you drop resistance, you become receptive. Stillness opens the door that striving kept locked. 3.9. Stillness as a portal to quantum collapse. Let's take this deeper, into quantum mechanics. Reality exists in a superposition, an infinite number of potential outcomes, until observed. This is known as wave function collapse. But here's the catch. Not all observation is equal. An anxious observer collapses potentials into more anxiety. A fearful observer activates timelines of scarcity. A still observer, present, aligned, non-resistant, activates timelines of coherence. Stillness doesn't collapse potential through willpower. It does so through frequency. It's the quiet clarity of I am that reshapes the field more powerfully than 1,000 mental projections. 3.1. Shuck, the ego's last stand. The closer you move to stillness, the louder the ego protests. Don't just sit there. You're being lazy. You're falling behind. But pause and question. Behind what? Compared to whom? On a path to where, exactly? The ego fears stillness because it thrives on identity. And stillness dissolves identity, at least the one constructed by the world. In stillness, you don't become someone else. You remember who you were before you forgot. You return, not as a step backward, but as a leap into truth. 3.11. Stillness in a noisy world. Let's get practical. The world will not applaud your stillness. In fact, it might mock it, because noise is normalized, distraction is monetized, busyness is worshipped. But this is your edge, your advantage, your superpower. While others burn out, you build resonance. While others seek hacks, you master harmony. While others chase, you attract. Stillness isn't about opting out. It's about opting in to a different paradigm, one where manifestation is not a battle, but a natural unfolding. 3.12. A simple practice. 5 minutes of power. Try this. Each morning, give yourself 5 minutes. No phone, no agenda, no performance. Just sit, breathe, feel. Notice what arises. Notice what you want to run from. Notice what you want to control. Then, let it go. Just for 5 minutes. Stillness isn't measured in hours. It's measured in presence. And in those 5 minutes, your frequency shifts. You move from doing to being, from chasing to receiving, from static to signal. 3.13. A final reflection. You are the calm in the storm. Life will get loud. The world will spin. People will project. But within you, there is a still point, a frequency untouched by noise. When you tune into that stillness, you become the calm in the storm, the eye in the hurricane, the gravity in the chaos. And from that place, you don't try to manifest. You become the frequency of what you desire. Stillness isn't weakness. It's the strongest signal in the universe, and it always finds its match. Up next, in part 4, we'll explore the next quantum leap, becoming the frequency, where we go from thinking about what we want to embodying it now, not someday. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll build it with the same depth, voice, and resonance. Part 4, becoming the frequency. You don't manifest from the outside in, you manifest from the inside out. 4.1. The frequency fallacy. We live under a seductive illusion. If I can just get the thing, then I'll feel the way I want to feel. If I get the relationship, I'll feel love. If I get the money, I'll feel secure. If I get the success, I'll feel worthy. But quantum reality works in reverse. You don't wait to receive the thing in order to feel the frequency. You feel the frequency in order to receive the thing. The energetic blueprint of your reality is created before any physical evidence shows up. And that blueprint is you. Not your thoughts, not your intentions, but your embodied, emotional, energetic state. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. 4.2. The misunderstanding around becoming. When people hear become the frequency, they often mistake it for pretending. Fake it till you make it. Wear the mask until it sticks. Say the right words, walk the walk. Smile even if you're breaking inside. But this is not embodiment. This is performance. And performance creates a split frequency, a distortion that the quantum field cannot harmonize with. You don't align through pretending, you align through presence. To become the frequency means to shift your inner state, not to prove something to the universe, but to allow something from within to rise to the surface. You're not trying to become something else. You're shedding everything that isn't you. 4.3. The law of resonance. Let's ground this in the most potent principle of all, resonance. In music, when two instruments are tuned to the same frequency, they begin to vibrate together, even without touching. That's resonance. In quantum manifestation, when your field vibrates at the same frequency as your desired reality, it is drawn to you. Not because you forced it, but because it recognized itself in you. Here's how this shows up. You embody peace. Chaos exits your life. You embody joy. Opportunities aligned with that joy appear. You embody abundance. Money flows without gripping, chasing, or begging. Resonance doesn't ask. It invites. Resonance doesn't force. It attracts. 4.4. The real work, identity, not outcome. Most people focus on what they want. The wise focus on who they're becoming, because every outcome you desire already exists on a frequency. The question is not, how do I get there? The question is, who must I be to live there? You don't get a loving relationship. You become someone who knows they are lovable without proving it. You don't earn abundance. You become someone whose energy already says, I am enough. The goal isn't to chase your desire. The goal is to embody the version of you who has already received it. This is not delusion. This is resonant reality creation. 4.5. A common trap. Waiting to feel good. One of the most dangerous patterns on the path is waiting. I'll feel happy when I find the right partner. I'll feel secure when I have more savings. I'll feel free when I quit this job. This is like telling the fireplace, give me heat, then I'll give you wood. The field doesn't respond to your future. It responds to your now. If you wait to feel like the version of yourself who has it, you'll wait forever. The mirror can't reflect a frequency you haven't stepped into. So the question becomes, can you feel now what you think the thing will give you? Because if you can feel it now, you're broadcasting it now. And that signal is what collapses reality into form. 4.6. Building the bridge. Thought, feeling, identity. Let's break it down. Step 1. You think the thought. Step 2. The thought creates an emotion. Step 3. Repeated emotion becomes your state. Step 4. Repeated state becomes your identity. Step 5. Identity becomes your field. This is how you become the frequency, not by faking, not by forcing, but by training your system, your nervous system, your emotional body, your cellular memory to live in the new state. This is why meditation, breath work, somatic work, and visualization are powerful, not because they fix you, but because they tune you. 4.7. Embodiment, visualization. Visualization is a helpful tool, but it's not the end game. If your body doesn't believe what your mind is imagining, there's no resonance. You can picture the dream life all day, but if your gut is tight with fear, that image never enters the quantum field. Manifestation happens in the body, not the brain. Embodiment means feeling into the new timeline, walking differently, breathing differently, speaking from your future self, not as fantasy, but as fact. It's not pretending. It's rehearsing the vibration of your next reality until it becomes second nature. 4.8. Frequencies you must shed. To become the frequency of what you desire, you must release the frequencies that keep you out of resonance. Guilt, the belief you don't deserve what you want. Shame, the belief you are what went wrong. Fear, the belief that receiving will create loss. Control, the belief that trust is weakness. Each of these vibrates at a level that repels your desires. Not because you're bad, but because these emotions are not matches for what you say you want. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be congruent. 4.9. Questions to tune your frequency. Here are prompts to recalibrate your field. What would it feel like to have what I want right now? What belief would I need to hold to let that be normal? How would I speak if I knew it was already done? How would I walk into a room if I trusted I was enough? What emotions have I been using to block my own magnetism? These are not just reflections. They're reprogramming your field. Because when you shift the way you feel now, you shift the path that opens next. 4.10. Embodying the already done energy. Here's a powerful frame. Live your day as if your manifestation just happened, but you haven't told anyone yet. Hold the secret, feel the vibration, smile like someone who knows. This is not acting, it's energetic becoming. The version of you who has already received the thing exists. In the quantum field, all timelines already exist. You're not creating it. You're becoming compatible with it. Think of it like tuning a radio. The station is already broadcasting. You don't build the station, you dial in. And the moment you hit the right frequency, you don't make the music appear. You receive it. 4.11. What to do when old frequencies arise. Even when you're becoming the frequency, old programs will resurface. Scarcity thinking, victim energy. What if it never happens? Thoughts. Don't resist them. Don't shame them. Don't spiral into them. Acknowledge them. Witness them. And then return to signal. Mastery is not perfection, it's awareness. It's the ability to return to the frequency again and again without punishment. Each time you return, you deepen your resonance. Each time you return, the mirror gets clearer. 4.12. Living from the inside out. Let's recap the shift. Most people live like this. Condition, emotion, action, outcome. But powerful creators flip it. Intention, frequency, action, new reality. They don't wait for life to tell them how to feel. They tell life how it's going to feel. By being it first. This is the essence of true quantum manifestation. You don't chase the outcome. You become the vibration that makes the outcome inevitable. And this begins now. 4.13. Becoming is the return. One final reminder. Becoming the frequency is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you to be afraid. This version of you isn't in the future. They're here, in this moment, beneath the static, beneath the doubt, beneath the programming. All you need to do is tune in, because when you do, reality starts tuning to you. Coming up next. In Part 5, we'll explore living non-resistance in a chaotic world. How do you hold this frequency of stillness and coherence when the world around you is loud, reactive, and sometimes painful? We'll dive into how to live from the inside out, even in chaos, and how surrender becomes your most precise power. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll build Part 5 with the same richness, clarity, and emotional gravity. Part 5. Living non-resistance in a chaotic world. Be the still point in the storm, and the storm will change. 5.1. When stillness meets the storm. It's easy to talk about non-resistance in the calm, when you're meditating, when your finances are stable, when your relationships are flowing. But what happens when the storm hits? When the bank account dips into the red? When the person you trusted walks away? When the diagnosis arrives, the betrayal unfolds, the world gets louder than your peace? Stillness then feels far away. Non-resistance feels like a luxury. The old patterns rush in, fight, fix, flee. But it's in these moments, precisely these moments, that your frequency is most powerful. Because true mastery isn't tested in silence, it's tested in chaos. 5.2. What non-resistance really means. Let's redefine it. Non-resistance doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean staying silent in the face of injustice. It doesn't mean letting others walk over you. Non-resistance is an inner posture. It's the difference between reacting from fear versus responding from clarity, trying to control outcomes versus aligning with wisdom, clenching around pain versus allowing it to move. You're not surrendering to the problem. You're surrendering your resistance to the moment, and that changes everything. 5.3. The cost of resistance. Most suffering isn't from the situation. It's from our resistance to it. We tighten around pain. We brace against uncertainty. We wage war with what's already happened. But reality doesn't negotiate with resistance. It waits for alignment. Here's what resistance does to your field. Contracts your energy, disrupts your nervous system, distorts your frequency, attracts more of the same. Imagine swimming in a rip current. The instinct is to fight it, but that's what exhausts and drowns you. Lifeguards teach, float first. Non-resistance is floating. It's not giving up. It's conserving your power until the tide shifts. 5.4. Radical acceptance. The gateway to new timelines. Non-resistance begins with radical acceptance. Acceptance does not mean agreement. It means presence. It means this is what's here. I meet it fully. And the moment you meet reality without a fight, you stop feeding the frequency that created it. This is where timelines shift. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to your pain. It responds to your relationship with your pain. When you stop pushing away the now, you release the grip that keeps you anchored in unwanted realities. You open space for something new. 5.5. Transmuting pain into power. Let's go deeper. Most people carry trapped energy in their field, pain they resisted, buried, avoided. This energy becomes dense, chaotic, and magnetic to more suffering. But when pain is fully felt, without story, without judgment, it transforms. Energy that moves becomes wisdom. Emotion that's allowed becomes fuel. You don't need to bypass your experience. You need to be with it. This doesn't weaken you. It strengthens your signal. Because the more integrated you are, the more powerful your field becomes. 5.6. Real-life embodiment. Stories of the shift. Let me share a story. A woman loses her job, her dream position, gone. At first she resists, panics, spirals, applies to anything with a pulse. Nothing happens until she stops, sits with the grief, stops fixing and starts feeling. In the stillness, something stirs, a forgotten love for art. She paints again, feels joy. Months later, she's selling her work, supporting herself, and more fulfilled than ever. What changed? She stopped fighting the door that closed and sat still long enough to see the one opening. That's non-resistance, not giving up, giving in to truth. 5.7. Being the frequency of peace in a noisy world. Let's get real. The world is noisy. People will disappoint you. Systems will break. Chaos will knock on your door. But none of that defines your frequency. You are the only one who can anchor your energy. So ask yourself, what's the emotional cost of resisting this moment? Who am I when I let go of needing this to change? What clarity emerges when I stop reacting and simply feel? Non-resistance is not an event. It's a moment-by-moment practice of returning to your power. It's choosing peace, not when peace is easy, but when peace is needed most. 5.8. Precision over panic. When you stop resisting life, something unexpected happens. Your actions become precise, not frantic, not scattered, clear, focused, potent. Think of a martial artist. Their stillness isn't passivity, it's potential. They move only when necessary, but when they do, the impact is undeniable. That's what happens when you act from alignment. You stop wasting energy reacting to everything. You start responding with intelligence. You become unstoppable, not because you dominate, but because you're undisturbed. 5.9. A practice for non-resistance. Here's a simple but profound tool, the 3-breath reset. When you feel triggered, panicked, or desperate, first breath, feel the body. Notice tension. Second breath, welcome the feeling, no judgment, just space. Third breath, ask, what would alignment choose now? This is not bypassing, this is recalibrating. You're not avoiding pain, you're meeting it from power. Do this in traffic, during a hard conversation, when fear floods in. This is how stillness becomes embodied in real time. 5.1. The frequency of the open heart. Most of us close our hearts to avoid pain, but a closed heart is a low frequency, regardless of how justified it feels. Non-resistance keeps your heart open, not recklessly, not naively, but courageously, because your open heart is your most powerful manifester. It broadcasts love, receives insight, magnetizes new timelines. An open heart doesn't just survive the storm, it sings through it. Let that be your signal. 5.11. Remembering your inner sanctuary. You are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your circumstances. You are the observer, the presence behind it all. In the chaos of the world, this still point inside you is your home. And from that home, you stop trying to fix the mirror. You start adjusting the light within. You become so vibrationally anchored that the world can spin, and you stay centered. That is not weakness. That is evolution. 5.12. Living the embodied frequency. Let's end where we began. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And what you are is always being shaped, not just by what you do in quiet moments, but by how you respond when the volume rises. Stillness is not for the monks alone. It's for the mother navigating grief, the entrepreneur facing uncertainty, the healer holding space in crisis, the human learning to soften when the world says, fight. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. And in that presence, your energy becomes medicine, your field becomes magnetic, your life becomes art. Final invitation, let stillness become your strategy. So I ask you now, what are you still resisting? What story are you clinging to? What would it feel like to let go? Not to lose, but to align. Because the moment you choose peace, peace chooses you. The moment you stop chasing, life starts responding. You don't need to control everything. You need to become the frequency of what you seek. Let stillness become your strategy. Let presence become your power. Let your energy lead. Because the version of you who no longer resists, they're not coming, they're already here.